Greetings, my friends. It's your Fat Pal L, and they are here with their Sanyo from 1983, the model M9820. I got my 9820K kilo for my birthday in 1983. Mine different from this particular model as it was a shortwave receiving radio. So whereas this has FM, AM tape, and then it gives you the stereo mono, this switch was where the shortwave actuators were for shortwave 1, shortwave 2, medium wave, and then the other switch had the delineation between the different functions. But everything else is identical. It has a really cool standby LED view meter, 2 microphones, roughly 5-inch full range woofers, and then just kind of like the piezo tweeters, just, you know, nothing super high end. But this was my first boombox that I got, and so it has a nostalgic feel. I got this one online 2022 when I started up my vintage repair, and it's like, you know what, I miss my boombox. I'm going to see if I can find something similar. Right, take up spool wasn't working, and it turns out there was a cog. It had a bit of a rubberized edge, so I put a number 8 O-ring on it, and it had enough clearance to engage and allow that to turn so that this wasn't turning and then it would eat your tapes. So now that does work. The hub works. And just cleaned up the capstan and, you know, just did a little bit of a TLC in there. It is a stereo head, but you gotta love the sound of the mechanics of this. It brings me back to 1983. What I remember, my unit was just as noisy as this. The playback was just as noisy. It doesn't record very well at all. It never recorded very well. I listened to some of the tapes on my, higher quality JVC deck up there that has like noise reduction, HX Pro, and, it's more of a, consumer level, but more of a mid-grade, high quality tape machine. And all of the recordings were like, negative 20 dBs. It was barely recording, and you did have a lot of background noise and hiss from even, the better quality Type 1 tapes you can do. I recorded this sample 5 minutes ago. And yes, I put it on a SA tape, but listen to it. It does have some audible wow and flutter. Again, these were never the greatest tape mechanisms to begin with. I'm going to edit this video and then throw in some of the photos I had for when I disassembled it, and the little wheel I had to fix for the hub in order to engage that that take-up reel, but hub, excuse me. But just a quick tour around it. There's nothing major on the sides. What you do get is a compartment here that holds 6 D batteries. You also have mono inputs for left and right for microphones. I would run 1/8 inch mono patch cords between this and my stereo Walkman that I had. Well, Walkman. It wasn't a Sony, but equivalent. And then these are outputs for external speakers, and it says anywhere between 3 to 8 ohms. So you take a quick gander there. But no, this is the 9820, and it cleaned up very well. I think somebody had this like in a storage unit or a garage or something. It was very dusty, but it was easy to work on. It just basically needed new belt, cleaning, DeOxit. I did put some of the restorative 1291 speaker. It's like a flexible adhesive that you can use to reattach, your cone to your speaker basket and brush it on the surrounds to keep it a little bit more, not necessarily damped. It's a sonically acoustic coating that protects any and all drivers that you put it on. So it's a really good fix-it tool, and you can just go down the rabbit hole and look for the 1291. It looks like white Elmer's school glue, and it applies the same way, but it does leave a nice coating. So I've used that in restoring some borderline kind of like dry rotted woofers, and it seemed to bring back some life to that without really coloring the sound. No, you got the grills, they're plastic. Quick tour here. You have microphones on either side in stereo. You have your tone. You have a volume control that actually has an inner ring and an outer ring, so you can balance left and right. I don't remember if my unit had that. It might have, but that looks a little different. It might have been specifically to this particular 9820 model, or maybe this was something that they originally had and then phased it out for the next year. Who knows? But it's got decent enough sound, plays radios really well, especially when I extend the telescopic antenna, and you pick up the same feeling like I'm ready. So this is a great radio, and I'll listen to it from time to time, and it does great. Not so great playing tapes, but when mine was new, it was never that great of a player or recorder to begin with. But it's very nostalgic. I wanted to just give you a little tour and a share, and of course, one of the cassette tapes that's very, very late 80s, early 90s, the Memorex tapes. I listened to a lot of Maxell. I had some XL1s, XL2s. Later, when I got a better tape deck, I got the Sony cassettes, the Denon cassettes. But my staple was either Maxell or TDK SAs. But I have this gem here, this Real Clear, and I would buy these in the late 80s. No. When were these popular? 86, 87-ish. And but I have some in gold and green. I had a set that was like metallic red, but I think that one gave up the ghost. But I put stickers on things. It's not that brand. But I always love the aesthetics, because a lot of 80s ads would have these in there. Before these came out, if you wanted that look, you could get the Tandy, any kind of computer that used actual cassettes. They had like 10 or 20 minute cassettes that had this style that you would use for encoding your programs. But I'm going to turn the volume down, but it's the coolest 80s thing right there. Oh my goodness. There is noise in the tape deck, but all the functions work. Fast forward, rewind, pause. That sound never gets old. So with that, I appreciate everybody for watching. But yes, this is a nice little easy restoration project. Nothing major. My JVC PC-V77 was more a labor of love because it had so many problems. But no, this is what I had. Well, the version that had the shortwave radio back in 1983, and I would listen to Michael Jackson's Thriller, that was popular back then. And when you're in grade school, you kind of dig playing that, and it had the headphones, so I could listen to it at night and tune into the Armed Forces radio when we were stationed in Spain at the time. So this is the radio that I had, and I loved picking up all of the shortwave radio stations because we were overseas at the time in the early 80s. So this was my first real boombox that I owned, And I mean, they had other ones that had detachable speakers and were fancier, but this is like pinnacle early 80s, you know, fun, affordable, not the greatest tape player, but it always picked up great stations. It always had a good sonic sound, and we still get that with the radio. So I use it as a radio. I'll turn it on from time to time, just flip it up, and you know, kind of go from there. But I love the tactile feel of that, and the little dancing VU meters there, the LEDs. It doesn't get super loud. You know, this probably has, I don't know, maybe 5-8 watts per channel tops, maybe even half of that. But I just love the aesthetics. It just screams early 80s boombox. It is substantially heavy with the 6D batteries in there, but it's very efficient, and I've had the batteries in there for like over a year. And I just listen to the radio from time to time, and it's good. But I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for letting me talk your ear off about this wonderful Sanyo M9820 boombox, and have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.